Hey guys, it's a History Nerd, and we are back with another exciting episode of Crusader Kings 2 Eastern Roman Empire. So let's go ahead and take a look at our heirs. We've got Born in Purple, Stutter, and Temperate. And we've got Craven and Born in Purple. So thankfully, and weak, but she's a girl. So, you know, not at the risk of sounding sexist, that doesn't really matter. So thankfully, none of them are stupid. But it's still going to be an interesting pick between the two of these. So, while I don't like the Stutter because of the knock to diplomacy, the Temperate, that's not a bad trait. The +2 stewardship, I'm a-okay with that. What concerns me is Craven, because it's just a bunch of negative modifiers. And, you know, it seems weird, especially at this early stage, where the Byzantine Empire is still going to be doing an awful lot of fighting, that we'd have a Craven Emperor. I don't like the sound of that, so I'm actually okay with Xenobias now. Even though he's got a bit of a stutter, he's still looking like a much better ruler than this Craven piece of crap. So we'll see. Plus, he's got a weak claim on the Kingdom of Norway. We can add that to the imperial titles. Damn, you know what I'm saying? But we'll see. Oh, English Revolt, England. Who is the King of England at the moment, actually? William the Conqueror. So it looks like William did win, but I would imagine this is a lot of angry Anglo-Saxons rising up against their Norman oppressors. So hopefully that wins. I'd like to see an Anglo-Saxon instead of a Norman England. That sounds pretty cool to me. And if that were to continue on into EU4, all the better. Anyway, thankfully we don't have any sort of succession crisis to deal with, so we can continue going with whatever it is we're gonna do. Notice in the comments some people were requesting maybe an adventure to Georgia. That will happen, as will in here. But if we go and take a look at the de jure empires, you can see the Byzantine Empire has an awful lot more up into Croatia there, and then southern Italy and Sicily. We might get Croatia. That is a possibility, but I don't necessarily want to push it that far west. We certainly won't go for southern Italy or for Sicily. That is well outside of my ideas. Although, I mean, hey, you know what? Malta wouldn't be bad just to have it, but this is just going to get us involved in too many Western European wars, and more critically, like, I'm not concerned about fighting Western Europeans. That's going to be relatively easy. I've got the Byzantine Empire behind me, very strong military power. Shouldn't be too much of an issue to take that land, especially now considering it's not, you know, imperial land. It's just minor Italian city-states and what have you. Well, maybe not city-states. Anyway, that's enough rambling about something that doesn't matter. My big concern about getting involved in Western Europe is when I transfer this to EU4. My plan is to already have, you know, the Arabian Peninsula basically to dominate the Eastern trade before the Europeans can get involved. I've got Sunset Invasion turned on, so North America is going to be tough for the usual groups to get in. But I'm going to be strong enough as it is. If I were to get any more land in Western Europe, especially southern Italy and Sicily here, and, you know, grow into even a smaller version of the classical Roman Empire, I'm just going to be too strong. Like, even for me, and you guys, if you've seen my England EU4 campaign, you know, I mean, I'm not horrid, but I'm certainly not the best player. But that much land and that much power, kind of what's the point? You know, at least if I take Arabia, right, you'll still have France blobbing big, you'll still have Castile doing their thing, and you'll still have England doing their thing, and the Holy Roman Empire. If I were to conquer all that in CK2, by the time we got into EU4, what would there be to do? Right? Like, yeah, we could go stomp on the North Americans and they'd be at equal tech level, but I'd be so massive, I don't think that there'd be any sort of real risk involved. And really, there'd be no game involved. And, you know, that's not It's not what I'm interested in. I want to make it, you know, granted, I'm going to be making it pretty easy for myself. I don't need to make it super easy. So that's the plan. But for now, we've got a few places we can expand into. Obviously, this duchy here, the Kingdom of Georgia, and this place here. Now, unfortunately, it's a count with 2 count titles, so that would mean 2 wars with these guys. But if we can kind of, you know, expand into the Black Sea, I'm planning on taking Georgia anyway. And I mean, if we take a look at the religious mode, it makes sense because they're Orthodox. Then, I mean, you know, if we've got Georgia and we've got these 2 lands, we might as well get those 2 and just sort of complete the little circle. So, anyway, that's the grand scheme of things. For the episode today, I don't know. I mean, we've got 19,000 troops. Am I really the fat? I kind of like that. I'm not even gluttonous, and I'm still known as the fat. That's wonderful. So we just gotta take a look here and see which one of these guys we want to go up against. So they have more troops than I do. That's not very good. Let's go check the Turks out then. What about you? And you've got more troops. So, yeah. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of a coin toss which one we go after. And, preferably not using the religious warfare, but I think I've gone and exhausted all of those options. Like if I were to go to the Fatimids and say, yeah, so it's all just going to be holy wars, and I would imagine it's the same for the Seljuks here. All just holy wars. Oh no, we've got some de jure claims here. So we've got some de jure claims we can still press for Terran here, which is part of Mesopotamia. And, right, that's the Duchy of Mesopotamia, and Arca, which is Antioch. So we've got 2 other places we could expand into. Tripoli is still tempting, but, you know, kind of getting the land that we deserved, or that we should own, that might be at the top of my list. The only thing is I don't like going to war with a massive empire over 1 county. Because then you're stuck with a 5-year peace and you can't really do anything. And you know, not to say that Terran or Arca here aren't bad, but, you know, I'd like to get a few more spoils than just a single county. Regardless, what can we do? Well, we can take a look at our vassals here, and we can see, you know, he's, like, for example, Adrianakis here, not exactly a fan. So let's go and see if we can grant him any sort of honorary titles. And indeed we can. We can grant 3 more. So this'll make our vassals like us a bit more. This guy is actually relatively strong as well. Except he's pretty young. I don't know if I necessarily want to give this guy a free title or an honorary title. That seems a bit odd. And I mean, this guy's 63, so he's gonna die soon. That guy's 50. That guy's 50. So I mean, these guys, they can become Anthipatos. Why not? And you too. Anthipatos. And I think we can do one more. Thankfully, this guy's 26. So that's good. Award honorary title. Oh, we ran out. That is a bit of a shame. Okay, well, let's see what else we can do to boost some of my vassals' opinions of me. Certainly, I could go and try to point some landed guys into positions here. 18, though, that's such a good number. Let's see, what have we got? 13 and 13, but, I mean, the captain of the Varangian Guard, yeah, he's landed, but he's not really landed, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, that's a bit tough. Can we... Anybody here? Yeah, not really. I mean, you are certainly better than the Ecclesiarch I've got, but, yeah. We'll figure that out in a bit. Oh, it looks like we've got some little land up here we could take. And actually, Cartley would get me de jure claim on the rest of those guys, which probably isn't a bad idea. And I mean, really, my own personal retinue here is probably enough to take Cartley. I don't think they've got any allies or anything, so let's just get our troops into position. And we might as well give them a leader. Flat terrain, cavalry leader, unpredictable. Is there... The thing is, like, looking at this, I can pretty much tell that this is not flat terrain. It's hills. So, you know, I mean, maybe there's a slight chance that we'd wind up fighting in some flat terrain. Oh, you guys are already way over here? Damn, you make good time. Okay, well, we'll go ahead, put you in charge. We've got 2,000 men, so that's good. Oh, they've got 2,250. They've got quite a few troops. Okay. Well, we can do this with our own personal levies. So let's just go ahead and declare war on them. De jure claim on Gartley. There we go. And new important decisions can strip merchant ships. No, that's not what we need. Basically, we should be okay with just my own personal levies here. Make sure I've got no other lands, and I didn't think so. So let's move them to Lori as well. Merge those guys together, take Gartley, and slowly grow to the north. So obviously the Hashemid, this land, and the Drebent, those are going to be pretty important pieces of land to take. I don't really need anything north of these mountain ranges, and they do provide a very good defensive location. So I'm a bit nervous about those troops. Although the Georgians certainly, or the Georgian rebels certainly inflicted some losses. I think it'll still be best to Methone. Is that where I've got... Where do I have this guy anyway? He's in Tarsus. Okay. So not where it got converted. We're going to leave him in Tarsus, doing his thing, spreading the word of Jesus. And come along now. Quickly, please. Wow, Manuel, you're not going to be leading troops. Not with a ability to lead of 0, and that is idiotic for me to lead troops as well. Let's go ahead. We'll put you... Well, no, we'll put you there. We'll put you, who doesn't have anything. And then you're my cavalry leader. I mean, there's a little bit of cavalry over here, so why not? It's not going to matter that much because we've got our enemies outnumbered basically 4-1. So it should be a pretty easy battle, is what I'm saying. So this is what I'm getting at. 14th of December, 9th of December. You can run all you guys want. Yep. Doesn't really matter. Y'all are gonna die. Well, that's perhaps not truly the case. Alright, we got another daughter. That's good for diplomatic things. And now we can go and just siege down Gartley. Let's see. Yeah, we might as well, because I think I've already got... I got Lustful, and I don't have Deceitful. So let's try and get some Deceitfulness going on. There we go. Oh, let's unpause, too, so we actually move. I expressed my views on the whole religion and God thing a bit too loud and got into trouble with a priest because of it. God is dead. Well, our piety's down to nothing. But the amount of holy wars we're going to be fighting, that'll come back up. My liege, I write to you with bad news from Tarsus. Okay, my efforts to root out heresy and convert the population have met with resistance, and the peasants are arming themselves. Oh dear, that is not good news. So let's go find, Tarsus. And that is indeed my, ecclesiarch there, is he? Yep, he is. Tarsus, yes, I should have realized that. So our revolt risk is rather high. It doesn't look like my Strategos is actually leading troops, which is good, so we will just put him down in here to suppress some of the revolts going on. I don't know how long that's going to take to factor in, but that should definitely be dropping down. All right, I did put him in there to suppress revolts. Okay, so local revolt risk should be going down, but it doesn't appear to be. So, I don't know. It'll drop, I'm sure. I mean, we've already got 63% war score against Kartli here. That's pretty darn good. And then I'm not sure with my de jure claim on Kartli if I'm able to replace this guy or if he'll just become my vassal. We're going to find out. He is a flanker and he's rank 17 military, so if we can somehow convince him to become an Orthodox Persian, we're going to be laughing all the way to the military bank. Just like that. So really, yeah, once this siege is done, we should be able to start hacking down the other ones and getting ourselves to 100% war score quite quickly, which is good. 100% war score is always a good thing to have. It looks like the uprising is pretty much done over here in Georgia. But like I say, I'm hoping by getting Kartli, I'll get a de jure claim on the rest of the Duchy of Kartli, and then we can sort of, you know, snag those lands from the Kingdom of Georgia in a war for fun. I mean, really. Yeah, I mean, the Kingdom of Georgia was relative. It was, you know, a relatively easy job to put down that revolt. And we should be able to finish this off. Hack them down, lads. All right. You're going to surrender. Becomes... Okay, so yeah, we become his liege. That's good. And now we're just going to... Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously you hate me. We can fix that. Well, it's not going to be critical to fix it. Let's send our troops back to Constantinople. And away we go. So it's not exactly a rich province we gained, but at least we've got some Orthodox people. And now let me just check. We can't afford to lose 100 piety, I guess, is the reason we're not able to go to war with them. Now we are. So have we got a de jure claim? No, it's just de jure claims on the individual provinces. That is a bit of a pain. Let's check the Duchy of Kartli. There is no claimants to it, and we don't have enough land to usurp it. So we're going to need to snag Tau and probably Gura in another war. But at least we've got our foot in the door, and I do suppose we could start going after these guys as well, since chances are you're not going to accept vassalization, so we might have to fight for those little pieces of land up there. Chariot races are scheduled to be held soon at the Hippodrome. 8 charioteers from the traditional blue and green teams will be competing for glory on the track. You may choose to throw your weight behind one of these factions and bet on them in a show of support. Support the Greens. That is going to be a family trait. It was close, but the green team emerged as the winner after a tense final lap. Their triumphant charioteer makes a victory lap to the cheers of the ecstatic crowds. When he passes your seat, he bows his head as a sign of respect and gratitude. I certainly know how to pick a winner. So there we go. That's doing pretty good. I'm pleased with that. We gotta check in here. Yeah, you would be married. No kids yet, though. Basically, I'm trying to figure out here what would be the best way to go about getting a claim, because I highly doubt this guy is actually going to be all that keen on the idea of vassalization. So, false religion, because they're Catholic. Foreign culture, because they're Slavic. Right? They are Serbian. Apologies. And, yeah, basically... base reluctance. Our power is helping, and the opinion of Polycarpus the Fat here certainly does help. But yeah, we'll have to see what we can do to get that. Otherwise, it'll just mean a war with Catholics, and I don't think the patriarch, the ecclesiarch here, would mind all that much. My prisoner is complaining. Yes, well, they have a tendency to do that. We can't ransom her, so we'll just be merciful. You know, it's not like she's going to be doing much. She can live under house arrest. That's fine with me. I don't have a strong opinion either way on that. And my dear daughter needs an education. And I think what we're going to do... let's see here. Go to my vassals. Actually, let's do this smartly, shall we? And go to you and say, hello, good sir. How would you like to educate... No. Yes, how would you like to educate my daughter? That sounds perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. Wonderful. So we can at least, you know, tweak our vassals' opinion of us a little bit by just doing things like that to get them to enjoy giving us some... or enjoy helping us out is basically what it is. But if we check back, I mean, he's still not that big of a fan of me. But, you know, it's not looking too bad. And it's not like our military is hurting. And we certainly do have options. Thankfully, the Byzantine Empire is very rich. So mercenaries are always on the menu. Which helps a lot. Especially because I forget when it was, but they actually nerfed the amount of troops you can raise, because apparently it was just getting too ridiculous for some people. I don't know why. Big armies seem to be just fine with me, but to be honest, that might be something noticeable over, like, you know, in England or in Western Europe, but rolling with the Byzantine Empire, it's so big that in the 2 or 3 practice games I played for this thing, I didn't notice a massive drop in troop availability or anything like that. Like, it was still fairly easy to go on a conquering spree. Speaking of, however, I haven't really been upgrading things enough necessarily to get a nice-sized personal army. So let's go ahead and do that. I'd like to get the keep going in Thrake, although, as I have said before, my plan is to just run things from Constantinople and basically give the lands around to other leaders, to other people. So what I might wind up doing is giving Thrake to a second-born son. Certainly, Theodolius here is a great candidate with his diplomacy rating of 5. Sitting at the same as his brother, who is now shy, craven as well, content, and charitable. So all of a sudden, this guy's not looking like such a hot leader. Patient, however, is looking pretty good. So we'll have to see how we can go about doing this, because I haven't named a despot yet. And that could be causing a couple of issues. Let's see what we can press for. Terran, okay. Korchev, oh. Yeah. These lands up here, I'm definitely thinking might not be a bad idea to sort of press my claims on. 51, 48, so obviously Korchev here would be the one that we want to take. And then, like I say, unfortunately, that means we're at peace with the count of this land for, I think, 5 years. But, screw it. Let's go take the land. Korchev, Dew of Cherson? Okay. I just want to make sure it's going to go to the right guy, is really what I'm concerned about here. So, yeah, de jure claim going to my duke. So let's send that declaration of war. And let's raise my own personal levies again. And, as always, get your vassals to provide the fleets. Because then you don't have to pay for these expensive boats. It's the vassals that are doing it. Come on, get in there, man. There we go. And 41 ships should be enough to transfer these troops over. And indeed, I think we've got a little bit of room to spare. So let's go ahead and make sure. Hey, this guy now, a flanker. So we definitely, actually, we'll put him on this flank because there's more troops there. Oh, geez, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, now we've got to go and, oh, good. Okay, I'm not leading troops. I've had that happen to me before where, you know, you go to replace and then it winds up, hey, you're leading troops, which is not something I want. Oh, okay, well, we'll put Romanos in the middle, put you on the ships, and send you right there. Perfect. March. Alright, well, those guys aren't going to be any concern to me whatsoever. I'm pleased to report that your errant subject has been converted. That's good. Let me just go check on Tarsus here and see. So yeah, now it's down to 1%, which is far more easy to handle. And hopefully these Miaphysites will convert to the true Orthodox faith, and we can stop worrying about all sorts of annoying things. Oh, you think you're going to be able to fight me? Is this what I'm seeing here? 'Cause I'm really not sure how to tell you this, but you're not going to be able to fight me. And I am tempted to just sort of march him down and get the war score up, but they're not able to successfully siege my holding, so screw them. And I'm certainly hoping my vassals appreciate the sacrifices I'm making here by not raising the entire imperial military. But really, just for vassal relations, it's just better to not raise them when you don't need to. Using a smuggled-in rope, Petriv Neal almost managed to escape from custody, but the guards caught her in time. Return her to her quarters. Just look, if you want to escape, good luck trying. If you make it out, congrats. You've fled the imperial prisons, but since nobody is willing to pay for your ransom, I'm not willing to just let you go. Costs money to feed prisoners, damn it. I need reimbursement. My wife is pregnant, that's good, and neither of my lovers have given me a bastard, except, of course, for this kid right here. You gotta remember, this dude is my son. He's just not acknowledged, which is helpful. Oh, yeah, you can go into house arrest too. Screw it. If they wind up escaping, then that's less I need to worry about. A son was born to Anna Ducas and an unknown father. Oh, good. So I've got two bastard kids now. One with each of the Ducas ladies. Gotta keep that imperial line going somehow, right? I am pleased to report that the majority of the population in Vesperukin has been converted to the Orthodox faith. That's wonderful. I like that my vassals are doing the job for me. It helps. Who are you at war with? You are at war with the Hashemid and the Georgian Uprising. Okay. I'm getting ill. Oh, that's not good. Although, you know, I'm still 43. I should be able to fight this illness off and keep living. My heir, thankfully, is almost of legal age, so that's helpful. Oh, we need to do Mysticos. Okay, let's see. 13 to 12? Yeah, you see, this is when it makes more sense to just take one of these guys. And I think I'm going to take Gregory here. He's good at everything. Not a bad Mysticos. And hey, he'll like me a bit better, and he's a duke, so that's good. fairly impressed that this army has just stayed where they're not able to do anything. Although I guess in either one of these, they're not able to lay siege to my holdings, which is pretty darn helpful when you're fighting a war. So hopefully I can just claim this land, march down, kick their ass, and call it a day. Yay, another daughter. Wonderful. It'll make any sort of succession crisis that we have less of a crisis. And speaking of succession crisis, thankfully we're primogeniture with the imperial laws of the Byzantine Empire, and we're not feudal, which is helpful. The only other thing that I could think of switching to would be elective monarchy, which just gets a little tricky. Trying to keep vassal relations high enough so that they always elect my selected heir, but it does give me flexibility in that I can actually pick my heir. Which is one thing that I wish there was. I wish there was a named succession so that you could just pick a member, pick one of your children and name them as your heir. But I guess, you know, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of having succession laws at all. So... Alright, well, whatever. She made it out. Good for her. She's had a tough life. Where are you marching to? Crimea? Yeah, we'll follow you there. Oh, they raised 2 men. Doesn't really matter. Offer peace. Enforce the demands. Thank you. And that should be going to my vassal, which it is, which is good. I write to you with bad news from Tarsus. My efforts to root out heresy and convert the population have met with resistance yet again. Damn those peasants. Let's go ahead. Disband all the units except, of course, for my retinue, who shall get back on their boats and sail back to Constantinople. Wonderful. So we'll leave the retinue up, but we don't need those ships. Thank you, vassals, as always, for your assistance in the war effort. So this is good. We're working on bridging the gap. We've got one more chunk of land to take. Do we actually have a peace treaty with them for it? Yes, we do. And it would cost us 2,300 prestige, which, granted, we can afford. But, you know, one little county isn't worth a loss that much. You've got to be kidding me. My guy died? That sucks. Alright, well, Varum, get in there. There you go. How old are you anyway? You were 49, alright. So, blowing a title on you, probably not the best idea. Well, yeah, I mean, things are going relatively well. Granted, we've just picked up the easy lands to get, right? But, you know, and our military strength isn't growing all that much. Granted, I could be doing far more in the way of vassal management to try and get that up there. But, wow. You're actually at war with quite a few people. Let's just see the general size. So, okay, well, that probably isn't a concern for the Fatimids. And, oh, but that would be. Oh, brilliant. Oh my God, these guys are fighting each other? What are you at? 19. Oh, this might not be a bad time to go for Tripoli. Although it looks like somebody's sieging it, and it's probably the Seljuks. So that would potentially wind up only netting us that. On the other hand, we could go to war with the Seljuks and take something like Edessa. Would Edessa be worth it? Or, let's see. So we get that. What about Aleppo? I mean, Aleppo would be good. Aleppo was big. Man, that is tempting. What are we looking at? 49. It's a fairly rich province. What about Edessa? Edessa's looking to be a little bit richer, but Mesopotamia, Jazeera, not entirely sure. Azerbaijan, that I do know. I don't know why, but that I do know. Oh, some of those are so very, very tempting. Armenian Miaphysite. Well, with the Muslims fighting each other, that is very tempting to go and try and pick apart. Like, Aleppo would be a huge boon. That is really tempting. And if the Seljuks and the... Yeah, so they're going for Syria. So then they wouldn't be able to get Tripoli. They might just be able to siege Tripoli, but they're not going to be able to take it. So why aren't they going for the Syrian provinces here? This is what I don't understand. Unless it's an invasion for the Kingdom of Syria. Or, I mean, we could do something crazy and, like, go for Alexandria. We've got a strong enough navy that we could potentially pull that off and get that port going. Getting our troops there would be a bit of a pain. Oh, man. Man. That's just too good to pass up. How are our troops looking? Yeah, I probably should have looked at that situation before I went after Korchev there. That's so tempting. I'm not going to get another chance at it, and it looks like that war just started. Let me just see here. Shia, Sunni, yeah. Do we have any de jure claims? No. So, man, Alexandria, that would be really good. Or Jerusalem, make sure the Crusades don't happen. Or Tripoli. I certainly feel like Tripoli would be a good starting point, a much better starting point. Or, let's just see here. Let's just compare. Because, I mean, Aleppo, oh man, that would be just so juicy. Or we could do the de jure claims on the lands that we own. And to be honest, it would probably be over much quicker. But that's just not enough land. You know, that's just not enough land. Tel Brashir, that would be pointless. De jure claim on all of these lands here. Yeah, just the little borderlands. Or maybe even their Far Eastern. Like, what kind of wealth are these generating? Not a lot. But if we were to get that, then that at least gives us basically a straight line across that we just move south with. So maybe the war for Azerbaijan would be a better bet. All right, I'm going to have to mull this over, and I will have a decision with the next video. And in fact, if you guys have any input on which of the Muslim empires I should go after, leave it in the comments. But yeah, I'm thinking now is definitely the time. With these two at war with each other, it's the time to pick at least one of them and take some land. I'm partial to going after the Seljuks, but the Fatimids, they've got two wars they're dealing with, right? They've already got this whole thing down here, which granted isn't big, but it's over in the southeast. And then they got the Seljuks, which granted can really pincer them. But, you know, Azerbaijan, Aleppo, any one of those would be a good thing. So, in the comments, let me know what you think, and we'll get it sorted out. So thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video. Leave your comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, jokes, musings, what have you below. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.